Welcome to the Nightly Rant. I'm Mike.
And I'm Torya.
This is the show where we talk about the awful things that have happened in our day, the awesome things that have happened in our day,
and all the things in between.
Thanks for listening, and we truly hope you enjoy. Surprise!
Apparently we're back for a bonus night? ?
I can't get enough of this.
You're ridiculously addicted to podcasting. You know this, right?
I am. I have an idea for 4 more podcasts.
Oh, geez.
I also know exactly what I'm going to do on my campaign page on a weekly basis from here on out.
Okay.
So, it's going to be interesting.
All right.
You know the banner that you made me?
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to take that
and
turn it into a video.
Why don't you use the
90
fancy
seconds
banners
long.
I made you that move?
Of 90. Well, but see, here's the point. If I do it this way, right, I could use the fancy banners too, but 90 seconds, and I just give a message about the week for 90-second message, just something really quick. But then it's behind that same graphic, so it doesn't really look like it's different.
The videos I made you are very similar. The only difference is the flag waves in the background.
Okay.
So it could be neat.
Yep.
Just take a look.
So, that's one idea that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm crazy, but...
Well, it's not surprising that
it's
you'd
also
be crazy.
It's also a passion right now.
Yeah.
And that tends to be how I am.
You get into it, so...
Exactly. So, what I thought we could talk about tonight is something that I read. My good friend Rachel and I last year around this time were talking about creating a dating site, and so she had me join some of these advice and relationship groups and stuff like that. And what I find interesting, first of all, is an observation. This is not the topic, but the group would give me a message in my news feed maybe twice a month. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a super active group, right? Until we got past Thanksgiving. What the hell happens? The relationships fall apart after Thanksgiving or some such shit like that? Millions of people asking for advice. There's 10 a day. I would get 2 a month. And I'm not bullshitting you. I'm getting 10 a day.
Maybe people didn't want to buy Christmas presents, so they ended relationships.
Maybe, but something goes on, and I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so, one of the things, though, was a lady posted that she and her boyfriend have been dating for more than a year. She didn't specify how long, but more than a year. So I'm guessing 13 months-ish, okay? Or just past the 12th month kind of thing, Pretty close to the year mark.
Okay.
And she has noticed for a while that he will notice other women.
Okay.
And so she wanted to know, should she be concerned about that? Was it bad if that bothered her? So first person asked her, well, okay, there's a difference between looking and leering.
Okay.
And she said, looking would be, he turns around, he kind of checks her out pretty quick, and then he looks away, and that's that. And maybe, if you're standing at, a Starbucks waiting for a drink, he might, check her out, 2 more times or something like that.
Okay.
Leering is when he's oh, and he just keeps staring at her and staring at her. And if she's there for 20 minutes, he's staring at her for 20 minutes. And then instead of what's happening is you're trying to talk to him, he just kind of goes, yeah, uh-huh. And then he's back looking at the person again. That is unacceptable.
Okay.
Okay, now as a man, there was a lot of comments in there about how men naturally look. Mm-hmm. And as a man, I have to say I tend to agree with that position, that a man is going to naturally look, but not leer.
Okay.
I think the leering aspect, I don't care. I don't care if you're single and you're leering.
It's uncomfortable and it's rude.
It's rude to the woman. And what makes you think that that woman's going to take you as a serious potential dater?
Right.
When her first interaction with you was you undressing her with your eyes. Like,
no good relationship ever started with one person being a creepy son of a bitch.
Well, okay. Now, we're going to come back to that. I like that. But what do you think about that? Like, if I was looking at another woman, are you going to be like, oh my God, he doesn't love me?
No. I'm going to question you about what you're looking at, because that's me, and that's the kind of relationship we have, because I would like to know, so I know if I agree or disagree with you. But, I mean...
Meaning she specifically wants to compare notes.
Shut up. But if you stared for a long period of time, I'd be offended.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question, because I don't want to assume anything. Have I ever stared for a long time?
Not that I've ever noticed.
Okay.
So you may have, but I didn't notice.
But that's what I would think, that you...
But I don't think you have.
Haven't.
You don't seem the type.
I'm kind of the opposite. I tell you that all the time. Like, we talked... I can't remember what we talked about. And I said, I have a hard time when, like, certain people's friends that are younger or closer to, like, 18, mm-hmm. and they wear, like, next to nothing, mm-hmm. and they're flaunting it in front of you, and you just almost don't want to interact with them. Because, on the one hand, even if you can play it cool and not be bothered by that,
you still have to be uncomfortable.
Somebody... the other person probably is thinking you're a pervert. They're thinking you're checking them out and, undressing them with your eyes, etc., etc., etc. But also, by not dealing with them, you're rude.
Right.
So what I try to do is somewhat deal with them and deal with my own discomfort with the situation.
Makes sense.
And I kind of try to put myself in a spot where I can't be misinterpreted.
I get it.
And I feel like, what you were saying before, like if you saw me look, you'd ask what I was looking at. Mm-hmm. And then what did you say after that? I don't want to have to rewind the tape and figure that out.
I don't remember what I said after that.
Oh, no. We need a better system for remembering those things.
Something about how...
So you can agree or disagree.
Oh, yeah, because I wanted to know if I agree with you or not on what you're looking at.
Right, and then I pointed out that you wanted to share notes.
Thanks, Mitch.
I got
you. Then I pointed out that you wanted to share notes.
Right.
Okay, so...
Clearly I don't make notes, or I would have remembered what the hell I just said.
Right. But, that's a figure of speech that doesn't literally mean
I get it. I was
Yogi thought I meant notes, though.
Make a joke.
He was going to get a pad of paper for me.
Yogi's dumb.
Hi, Yogi. Oh, Mitchell says you're dumb, Yogi.
Shunk.
Anyway, so... I find that interesting because here's the thing, all right? There's going to be the group of people... Stop it. There's going to be the group of people out there who are going to say... They're going to say, oh, being okay with the man looking like that, that's awful. He's mistreating you.
Well, those people can
Then there's going to be the group of people who are going to be like... Look, I let him have sex with them. What do I care?
Right.
There's those two extremes. There's those two extremes, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that what everybody else in the middle needs to try to realize is that, as I'm going to keep harping on this point throughout, because this podcast really, it's about life, and that's why our tagline is insane conversations revealed. Now, I know that people interpret that as insane, as in crazy, as in like mentally deranged, but I didn't really mean it that way. That's why there's conversations revealed. I meant that we were having so many intense, unbelievable conversations at night. Mm-hmm. And we both were like, we should record this. And so it's those conversations revealed to the public, Mm-hmm. And because of that... I find it interesting that we need to keep reminding people, hey, people, what we do in our relationship is our business. As long as we're not flaunting it in front of you, in which case we're infringing upon your rights, and you get to say, no, don't do that. Okay, so then why do people care who's married to whom and who has what rules in their relationship, and that's the wrong way to do it, that's the right way to do it? Because quite honestly, the relationship experts, they give very generalized statements like, they need to make each other happy, and they need to complement one another, and they need to, that could mean anything.
Right.
And that's my point, is there is no exact example of complementing one another. So maybe people think two people that are together feel that they're complementing one another because they see things a certain way. Whereas other people would be like, no, that's the wrong way. Well, it's not the wrong way for them. It's the right way for them. Exactly. And that's what I think. I think people forget that there's individual freedom and individual liberty, and we're entitled to do things our way.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I had somebody challenge me on that once, and it was rather extreme. They were like, okay, so if two people are super turned on by having sex in public places, do you want to see some man bending his wife over the counter in McDonald's while you stand there with your kids? And I said, you just proved my point.
That would be infringing on your rights.
I said, here's how. He goes, how does it prove your point? I go, here's how. If they go to their own house and they invite 5 men over, and those 5 men and the husband have sex with the wife all at one time, personally, that's something I don't even want to think about.
You're traumatizing Mitchell.
Personally. But if that's what they want to do in the privacy of their home, and I hear about it, I'm
like
not saying a damn word. That's their choice. Their choice. Okay? But the example you gave of the person in McDonald's, they're infringing upon my rights because I'm forced to look at that. And yeah, you're going to say, well, you don't have to go to the McDonald's. Well, now you're forcing me to make a different choice for food.
Right.
And it goes on and on and on. And so, yes, that one thing infringes upon my rights. And it's what I keep reminding people. My rights begin where your rights end, and vice versa. And people need to remember that. Especially social media people who they say the dumbest stuff to people. Like, you don't... Okay, example. A heated topic, like, I don't know, abortion or sexual harassment or gay marriage. Slavery. Well, racism. That's a better way to put it. But thank you for that. He said slavery, but I don't see how that's relevant right now.
100 years ago, yes.
Yes. So anyway, take one of those topics, right? And you start talking about one of those topics.
Mm-hmm.
Someone comes along and has an opposing view to you, right?
Right.
For some reason, that automatically makes you the exact opposite ideologically as them. So, if the person you're talking to is a Republican, and you make that comment, so let's just say the comment is, I'm in favor of gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to know what the comment is, because I'm going to show you why in a second.
Okay.
And you say that, and it's to a Republican person, they're going to immediately say, oh, you're a Democrat. That's why you said that, because you're a Democrat. Okay? But conversely, if you say, I'm in favor of gay marriage, to a Democrat, they're not going to assume you're a Republican, because that's not a Republican stance, but they're going to immediately assume you're a Democrat.
Okay.
And you must agree with them. Okay? But just because I have the opposing or same viewpoint as you doesn't mean I'm the exact opposite or exact same as you.
Right.
It's possible that I am. Of course it's possible. Because two people with the same ideology could have a disagreement on one part of the... I mean, gay marriage doesn't make up an entire political ideology. It's just part of it. Right?
Right.
So... You can't prove anything by those two people being different. Because the reality of it is, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat.
Right.
So when I disagree with this guy and he thinks I'm a Republican, he's wrong. And when I disagree with that guy and he thinks I'm a Democrat, he's wrong. Or when I agree with this guy but not that guy, he thinks I'm a Democrat and he's wrong.
Right.
For some reason, they cannot fathom that there's another choice available. So, what does that tell you about the system? Like, the whole system is a disastrous mess.
Because it's unheard of to be not one of the major two parties. Unheard of.
Right, you're basically taught that that's evil. It's a waste. Don't do it. But it's kind of like, okay, how to tie that back. I know it sounds crazy, guys. I like politics and I like relationships and I like that kind of stuff. So
you like
I just
politics?
kind of wind it all together. Yeah,
Really?
I do. I have a podcast about politics. Did you know that?
No, I've never heard of it ever.
Peeling the Orange. And it's peelingtheorange.net. What was that?
You like a daily dose of penis.
Mitchell's being inappropriate.
Oh, I see. Mitchell. No, I do not like sausages that much. Thank you very much. That would make me... My doctor would kill me because of the sodium intake.
Cholesterol would probably go through
And the cholesterol would raise like crazy, and Dr. Matt would probably beat me up.
No,
He probably would. That's very true.
Anyway. So, are you following what I was trying to say?
Well,
that like women
I know
today...
You went from relationships to politics.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring it back,
so
okay?
Bring it back for me.
I'm going to bring it back, you know. Women today, some of them are very militant. Some of them are very old-fashioned. Okay, but not militant. That's like, if militant was 10, old-fashioned would be like 8. Okay?
Right.
And then, you know, slowly it gets to the other direction where like 1 is they'll bang anybody.
Right.
Okay? So, and then, you know, there's a scale in between. And I think what happens is the people on the two extremes are the ones that get heard the most. So you should wait until you're married, blah, 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 perspective, get heard. They bring in more converts. And then the be free with your body, do whatever you want crowd, they get a lot of recruits too.
Right.
And I think that's kind of like, you know, 40%, and then the rest of us are 20% in the middle.
I don't think that only 20% are people in the middle. I think there's 20% in each extreme and 60% in the middle.
I don't know about that.
That's the only disagreement I have with what you just said.
But see, there you go. So, bottom line, it's the philosophy more than the numbers.
Right.
That's just what happens for some reason. And so, like, on that advice site, it went 2 different ways. Like, quite literally, oh my God, you know, he's probably thinking about what it would be like to have sex with her. Well, you know what? Who cares if he did?
You know, I agree with that. Who cares if he did? As long as he didn't act on it, then it seems reasonably fine.
And as long as he's not planning to act on it. Like, he didn't go up to her and get her phone number,
he didn't act
for
on
instance.
It. He didn't try to act on it. He didn't think about acting on it. If you think about it, if you have like a brain flash of it in your head, Mitchell, what are you doing?
Think about it. If it was like, don't make so much noise.
Yes, you can have that box.
I can cut it, right?
Yes. Think about it like this, okay? Think about it like this. If you, no matter where it is that you met said person, right?
Okay.
You're bound to run into them more than once.
Seems legit.
Because, like, if what happens is every day at X time you go to Starbucks,
right.
This other person who's, let's say, because I'm the man, let's say the female, she might not go to Starbucks as much as me, but she might. In which case, I'd see her every day.
Just like we see Mark every time we go to Starbucks.
But if you
just like we see people from our apartment building every time we go to Walmart.
Right. Or like we go on the elevator, and how many times do we see our neighbor's wife in the elevator? Like all the time, right? Well, okay. So if you kind of had a thing for that person, how difficult do you really think it would be to try to pursue it?
Well, like, for example, our neighbor's wife.
All you'd have to do is be like, oh, you like that? You go to Planet Fitness? I've been wanting to get into working out. Maybe I could go with you one time. You know? And then she would more than likely...
and
she would more than likely be the kind of person who'd be like, oh, sure. You know, I'll take you to the gym.
Right. And
then you're like, okay, now I can move in on this woman because we can do something social and then move in. So okay. So let me ask you this. You know how that's what it was I wanted to talk about. You said, I remembered what it was you said. You said that people go to extremes with their thinking on these things, and that why the heck would it be wrong for the man to just look? That, yes, you agreed with me, leering would be a bad thing, okay? So then why is it, if most people agree with that, why is it that the most common mistake mostly women are making, because men are just taking advantage of it because we're horn dogs, why is it that women in the dating pool today are, I don't know, discussing when they're going to first have sex before they even go on their first date? Or exchanging nude photos before they've even met in person even once? Or sexting before, you know, and having like video chat sex before they've met even once? Like, why are they doing this stuff if that's considered extreme, and we figured out that extreme in either direction doesn't work?
No idea.
I'm at a loss for that too, and it's like, very intelligent people do that.
Yep.
Yes,
sure do.
Some dumb people do too, but I mean,
there's no demographic that does that. All sorts of people do.
Yeah, we can't just leave everybody out. Exactly. So I don't know. It kind of comes back to, what do you think? I mean, like, if I was walking down the hall and every time I saw a particular neighbor, I took a look, would that bother you?
If it was every single time and you looked for more than just a glance, probably.
Well, now we're back to that definition. We already defined that. More
you
than just
what would bother me.
But more than just a glance is leering.
You asked what would bother me, so I told you.
So I'm trying to use the right terminology so we can understand each other.
Uh-huh.
So I said looking. I didn't say leering.
No, it wouldn't.
See, and that, I think that's really the thing that it comes down to as far as key.
Now, if it's all you talked about after you saw her, that's again different.
Well, yeah, because in a sense, though.
But if all you did was glance, then that's what that's saying.
But in a sense, if there was a glance and then a long talk afterwards, wouldn't that be kind of like leering? Because you're keeping that person in your head.
That's being creepy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Isn't leering also considered under the umbrella of creepy?
I would think leery is creepy.
So creepy is an umbrella. It encompasses a lot of things.
Okay, which is why, I mean, I kind of agreed with that, but in my own way of thinking. I was calling it, did you hear what I said? If you had that even if you had a quick glance and then you had a long conversation about it, wouldn't that also be leering? So see, I kind of looked at it the same way.
Creepy
You're
umbrella.
looking at them two different ways, but both under the creepy umbrella. So that's fine. I can agree to that.
Okay.
Well, everything's creepy.
You're creepy.
Well, but not everything is creepy.
Mitchell's holding the creepy umbrella.
I think that I think that people are dishonest if they say they don't look. Men and women. They're dishonest. They're lying.
Yeah,
100%, I'm telling you that they're lying.
Okay.
I mean, they just are. And I don't think you disagree with me on that either.
Nope, sure don't. I mean, if they say they didn't look at somebody, not lying.
Specific
Saying
person.
they never look, lying.
Right.
The blade got stuck in the box.
Well, get the pliers and take it out. Anyway.
It's just a box. You can probably pick it up.
Don't cut yourself.
Just don't cut yourself.
I'm not that dumb.
Well, that's why I'm saying get the pliers. Anyway, you know what though? That's why I want to say, like you said, yes, that specific instance, maybe you thought they were checking the person out and they weren't. Okay? They might even be like, well, what person? What are you talking about? You know?
Right.
And that can happen. But if they say, I never, ever check anybody out, you're the only person I ever look at. Liar.
Yep.
And then if you think about it, why do some women and men, well, actually, I think it's actually more men that do this than women, to be really honest, now that I think about it. In most relationships, I personally think the man tends to be more controlling than the woman. In other words, I think there are more controlling men by proportion to controlling women.
Not sure I agree with that, but I understand where you're going with this.
Victoria is very controlling.
Well, even in the sense that there's a controlling woman over here, they end up with a more controlling man.
Okay.
And yeah, there's the handful of relationships I've seen where the woman was the complete controlling one.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria.
Most of the time, they were with somebody who was more controlling than them or was more resistant to the controlling than they were. And it caused fighting and arguing and bickering and all constant tension.
It is what it is.
So, I don't know. Well, but it's interesting because neither sex likes that. They don't like to be treated that way. Yet they treat each other that way. And that's my thing. Like, I've said it to you so many times. Our relationship isn't like that. We don't control each other. We respect each other. Mutual respect. And I think so. And that's not patting ourselves on the back. It's just something we've come to realize as we talk to people. Their experience. Like, there's even been people say, oh yeah, that's exactly how my experience is. And then when you talk a little bit longer, they're like, well, no, it's mostly like my experience. But this, and this are different. And I don't know. I think it's because you have to get to that mutual respect point.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know how like business people go to these retreats and then they do like the team building where you have to like trust fall or something like that. Okay, well, that's kind of what you have to get to the point where you'd be willing to do a trust fall because you know I'm going to catch you and vice versa.
Right.
You know, once you get those two things, the mutual respect and the trust,
mm-hmm.
I truly think you can conquer anything.
You probably can.
I mean, anything. Because, like, for instance, when we kind of alluded to it last night with Tina when we opened the show about solving a major problem.
Right.
You know, I made an initial suggestion.
Right.
Days before.
Uh-huh.
And then you added a suggestion.
Right. So then we had 3 potential
Which then
solutions.
led me to yet another suggestion.
Right.
Which we chose to go for first. And it didn't work out. But it also shot down one of the other solutions.
Right. And when all the solutions we'd previously come up with were shot down, we worked together and came up with a 5th solution that solved our problem.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Then we got in the car and we're like, I wonder what we can do now. And then you just like out of the blue, you're like, what about this place and this place?
Right.
And I'm like, wow. I was kind of thinking about the second one, but not really the first one. And I don't know why. Something told me you were right. And you were right and go with that instinct. And
I think we were both just as shocked when it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly, and it was because we went with what your gut instinct was. And it couldn't have been better.
So, you know who you are because you subscribed to our podcast yesterday. But thank you for all of your wonderful help.
You were amazing. You were amazing. Best customer service I have ever received, quite honestly. I don't think I've tried to think about it and come up with better customer service story. I can't come up with one. So yeah, that's that situation. I'm thinking if you want to know the details, you might want to subscribe over at patreon.com/Michael Mahoney.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit more into the details over there.
I'm just sitting here thinking that at some point here I should buy a domain, kind of like the callwithmahoney.info, and do Mahoney Patreon.net or whatever, and point it to that URL, because that URL is a pain in the ass, and most people screw up my last name.
It's true.
So I don't know.
A couple of suggestions for that.
We'll talk about that later. But I was just sitting here thinking about that. But see,
more coming soon.
We're back to describing why this podcast was made. Insane conversations. We get into these topics and we just dig in, and I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, I'm always an analytical person, and these kind of things are really cool. But yeah, hopefully, some of you people who hate my guts out there have realized that.
That you're not
I'm not a woman abuser, and I don't badmouth small businesses, and I'm a good father, and I am actually a pretty nice guy. Like I'm sarcastic, and unfortunately that doesn't seem to translate well in written form. But when people talk to me and meet me, they completely change their tune because they realize that I'm just sarcastic.
I think people now think I'm more sarcastic if they've listened to this.
Well, the truth be told, they would have to think that, because usually in larger social gatherings, you're quieter than this.
No, I meant versus online. I mean, I try to be sarcastic online, but somehow I just don't come off as rude as I want to be some days.
Well, I don't think you come off rude at all here. I mean, I just think you're just blunt.
No, but the sarcastic comes out when you can hear the tone of my voice. I've listened to some of the replays.
Yeah. Well, no, you're right. I actually think that's going to be one of the things we might add as a regular. I've been thinking about this, and guys, this is the thing about our show. It's real. I could say to her, I'll talk to you about it offline. And yes, there are some things because of privacy reasons that we need to do that. And, that's just, our business. I'm not going to go into that. But then there's other things where we're just going to be real, and that's like right now. Okay? What if, as a regular segment, we took one of the discussions, it doesn't matter, maybe it's a once a week thing that we do this, okay? Mm-hmm. Where in one of the podcasts we throw in something we saw on Facebook.
Oh, jeez.
Or something we saw on Instagram.
Of our podcast, idiots of the internet, if we do that. You know that, right? Seriously.
Well, but don't you think it would be funny?
Yeah, we could talk about the harassment I got on Facebook today, or the harassment I got on Instagram today.
Yeah. From scammers who are in dark places and would get in trouble if they video chatted.
Or MLM people.
Yeah.
Well, that specific.
Who don't care? Person. Who don't have the MLM guy who doesn't have an emotional attachment to a yes or no answer, who when told no insulted you. Yeah, that was quite interesting.
So dumb guy, no means no. No means
no.
No.
Get that through your thick skull, dude. And you're supposedly a man. We're taught this at an early age that no.
Anybody who doesn't know no means no needs to go back to the second grade and try again with life.
Victoria, dumb voicemail guy?
We already ran dumb voicemail.
No, that's a different person. He's digressing back to an older episode. But hey, that's interesting to me. The way men and women, they have things that they want it a certain way, and they don't treat the other side the same way.
Yeah, it's a regular thing. I mean, you think about it. People everywhere. For example, let's talk about when we went to Costco yesterday for 1 second. So, I don't know if we talked about this yesterday. We went to Costco. We battled the parking lot 3 days before Christmas like a pair of idiots. I mean, we're a pair of idiots for going to Costco yesterday. That's just...
I won't argue with you.
We get inside, and
2 idiots.
30 seconds in, we're
Both
like, nope.
Out of here.
And we tried to bail. Keyword tried, because it was like fighting through an army of demons to get out. And then
Yeah, because people just can't be bothered to move the hell out of your way.
we're walking towards the exit. And you know how in Costco, when you're leaving, they have to check your receipts. They split people into two lines. They're checking their receipt. And the middle is for people who didn't buy anything, or people who are leaving their spouse in line, or whatever. People who don't have a purchase that they're carrying.
Right.
Okay, so we're meandering down there quite quickly because we want to get the hell out of this place. And some dude thinks it's okay to just like slam into my shoulder and then go, "Excuse me," after he slammed into my shoulder. Now, that is not okay. It's not okay. Don't act like that. You'd get all pissed off at me if I acted like that towards you. So why is that okay for you to act that way towards me?
Yeah.
But in his mind, it's completely fine. He did nothing wrong slamming into me.
But see, but I'm starting to think about something here. You know, we're talking about like men versus women on certain issues and how men want it one way and women want it the other way. Well, but in our society, don't we tend to segment people into groups? And one group has their opinion, the other group has their opinion. And like, oh no, you know, we don't have, in Canada, we don't have Republicans and Democrats. We have various parties because we're a parliamentary system. Well, you know what? I say fucking do. And you want to know why I say fucking do? Because you tell me, you tell me, well, now that means that everybody is represented. Like you know, you're libertarian, and who's representing you? Well, you know what, you're right. Nobody is. But I'm going to tell you what, it's no different than it is in Canada. If you're in the same party that has the same amount of power as the Libertarian Party, whatever that is, I'm going to call them the Canada Libertarian Party. Okay.
Want to go with the Rhinoceros Party because they make me laugh?
The Rhinoceros Party. Okay. Say it was them. So what do they get? One representative.
Zero.
But I'm just saying, what if they did? They got one representative. Just to give them a representative to say everyone's represented. Who the fuck cares? They're never going to win a vote. They want something one way and now nobody else does. It's going to be a 99-1. That's how it's going to work every time. They have no power. So yeah, you're represented, but you don't have any more power than I do. So it's like, shut up. You know, we all get segmented into groups, no matter what. Can we please not harass him? We all get segmented into groups, no matter where we live, no matter what system we're listening to, no matter what we're doing in life. Businesses get segmented. People get segmented. Government employees get segmented. Everybody gets segmented. Yeah, even schools. Oh, that's a good school and that's a good school, but that's a bad school and that's a bad school. Oh, you don't want to go to that school. Everybody wants to go to that school. It's all about one-upping the next group and fighting against one another. And that's why in all of society, it feels like it's just fucking spinning out of control because nobody wants to step up and say, wait, this is the path we're going to take. Instead, it's like, oh, wouldn't want to piss you off. Sorry. It's just ridiculous how politically correct our society has gotten. And with that, we have ranted for a very long time. At least I have. You haven't said much because I didn't let you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was really pissed today.
We've had episodes where I rant. We've had episodes where you rant.
And
we have episodes where Captain Root Pants over there just yells the entire time.
Anyway, I'm going to get out of here because this is racking up some space here. You guys have a Merry Christmas. A very Merry Christmas. And don't forget, we have a special Santa Claus episode coming up Monday. That's Christmas Day. A Santa Claus episode at thenightlyrant.wordpress.com. Shut up! thenightlyrant.wordpress.com.
I guess we'll talk to you on Monday.
Hasta la bye-bye. Hey, this is Mike, and I just wanted to tell you that if you enjoyed the show, and I truly hope you did, you can subscribe on iTunes or Google Play and not miss a single episode. But if you happened to miss an episode and you didn't find it on Google Play or iTunes for some reason, you could go to our website, which is thenightlyrant.wordpress.com.